Welcome back to Brain Bark. This is Duke.
This is Maggie. Long time no see.
And today we're going to be talking about next frame. Oh, okay. Last time we were talking about the infiltration of the CCP.
So in the episode, we gave the audience that there are two plans that CCP is planted in the U.S. One is called the 3F plan. One is called the BGY plan, and then one of the example of 3F plan is called fentanyl, and you can find the information of fentanyl down below in the description area. And so today we're going to talk about BGY.
Yep. Oh, which is blue, gold, and yellow.
So what is BGY?
Yeah, so we got blue. Blue is for cyber attacks, basically, and information control, which doesn't have to be an attack per se, but surveillance, that kind of thing.
Monitoring, surveillance,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, so I have a decent amount of knowledge about computer security and network security, and I can tell you that Chinese sources are by far the largest source of online attacks on any site.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it's for. It's being attacked by the Chinese. And people have to pay a lot of money to guard their sites against being taken down by all this stuff. Because it's not just, it's them trying to break in, but the volume is such that it could actually take down a site because of too much traffic.
Wow. What's the website's name?
It's any kind of notable website, and even a lot of not so notable. I mean, even like all your biggest ones, Times or what's it, Wall Street Journal maybe, or C-SPAN, But also going down even to porn sites.
What?
People enter their personal information, and they don't really want that stuff to get out. So
that's stupid. Okay.
It's a great source for some very sensitive information.
Yeah. Next page.
Yeah.
So this is a website. It's called Chinese government purchasing website. This is one example of how they're trying to manipulating the public opinion, or they're trying to control the public opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So these are China News Service. They're giving a bid of who can increase our Twitter followers. So they want to increase Twitter followers to 580K. They want to increase that amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then they give the money of about 17.7 thousand US dollar for doing all this project. This project is from 2019 August 16 to 2020 February 29th. So they want all the followers to so-called build a good bridge, and then to enforce the China news efforts overseas.
Mm-hmm. Making it more notable than it should be.
Yeah.
And that it really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, look at all of our followers. We have to be speaking for the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they say, because Twitter is an international platform, like a huge wave of the news, so this is why we're doing this bidding.
Right. To get their propaganda out to even other countries.
Yeah, to brainwash other countries' people.
So these are some example companies that some more obviously than others have been influenced by the Chinese, either uh, through blue, or as we'll see a little bit later, by gold,
Mm-hmm.
um, because a lot of these have significant. In fact, I think all of them actually have significant Chinese investment.
Yes.
And with investment comes control. Uh, Investors usually, it's a very common setup where you invest in a company and you get a position on the board of directors, which allows you to influence the direction of the company. Um, mm, yeah, I think that's it for this slide.
Okay.
Um,
Next one.
yeah. So I think the first thing to touch on in this slide is in the top right, we have that kind of a greenish color panel. So this shows some of the information controlling that some of these companies are doing. So YouTube has closed about 200 accounts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My vision's a little blurry. And what was that for?
Therefore, they believe it was part of Chinese government's influence campaign targeting the protest movement in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So there's thinking all those accounts are speaking up for the dictatorship and then putting bad influence on the Hong Kong people and
Right.
just saying that they're rioters, they're doing something wrong, they shouldn't stand up for their rights.
Mm.
They pretty much just say, yeah, CCP is good, Hong Kong people, they're bad, they just want to mess up with China, they just want to be independent, to be separated from China.
Right. They're the bad guys who are being selfish or just needlessly disruptive,
Mm-hmm.
and opposing the glorious leader, uh, Xi.
Xi Jinping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, it's a little bit late here. I'm pretty tired. So that's just concerning people talking about Hong Kong
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Or Twitter.
Or Twitter. They've closed 936 accounts and suspended far more. Facebook has removed some accounts, and all of these, yeah, and they had a lot of followers, and all of these, they do this thing. So they say, okay, you can't post that, but if you take it down, then you can have your account back. Right? So you post a video or a tweet or a post, and you get a message saying your account has been suspended, but all you have to do in order to reinstate it is to delete your post, which is essentially dialogue control. You can't talk about some things.
Yeah.
And these are all supposed to be neutral platforms where you can say whatever you want as long as it's not actually illegal to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and speech is never supposed to be,
yes,
unless it's slanderous or calling for violence. And there are other media that can be posted as well that could be illegal, but none of this counts as illegal content. And all of these claim an exemption under the FCC as a neutral platform. Mm-hmm. But then they're telling their users, hey, you can't talk about that. And yet, they allow Antifa, a terrorist group, an international terrorist group, to post whatever they want, including illegal content like calls to violence, which is their trademark. Antifa is a loosely knit uh, terrorist group whose stance is that violence is required against evil people. Evil people being generally anyone who does not agree with communism. The evil capitalist or the evil people who want their freedom.
Hmm.
And they've attacked people physically in many, many instances. There's the milkshaking in the UK where people are assaulted with milkshakes, which is a move to make it seem less severe. Like, oh man, you're assaulted with a milkshake, boo-hoo, little baby. You're less likely to press charges, and people are less likely to take you seriously. But it's still assault, and there's a case of a reporter being assaulted with a milkshake with quicksand concrete in it, which has caustic chemicals that will burn the skin. Uh, and other people getting dragged out of their cars and beaten with sticks. And these people are allowed to post, but not people talking about how Hong Kong should have freedom.
Wow. So, based on this act by Twitter and Facebook, there is another funny post that was spread out wildly in WeChat. We talked about WeChat before. So there's a WeChat article says, "Thank you for the Western media. They let me see what the real free speech is," which means that they thought, "Oh, I just speak up for myself. I support CCP," and they just closed my account because they don't want to listen to that.
Yep.
So they stole the concept of free speech, and they just went wild, say, yeah, this is what you mean by free speech in the Western world, and you don't even let me to worship my country or my party.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't realize that country is different from party. So
and party is different from truth.
yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're like in the U.S. if you're Republican or Democrat or something else. You're to think that your party is always right is insanity.
Mm-hmm.
You never you can never know just immediately. Oh man, this Republican guy told me this, so it must be right, or this Democrat person told me this, and must be right.
Or it's like he's Republican, so everything he said must be right, or he's Democratic, and everything he said must be right. That kind of thing.
Right. In the end, they're politicians, or at least government officials, and they're liars. That's basically their job. You you hope that they do you right and they represent you, but you can never trust them, and this is not the case in China.
Yeah. Also, based on this, there's another story that there's a person. I might I might give everybody his information later on in other episodes. So his name is Miles Kwok. So he is one of the billionaire in China, and he is now in the U.S. And he's doing a tell-out revolution in trying to take down CCP. I believe in May 30th this year, he said the extradition bill was written by Carrie Lam, the chief executive, word by word. And then, so on Twitter, everybody went crazy, says, wow, like this is some like inside stories that we never knew. So people just start talking about this. And then later on May 31st, when people trying to get on their Twitter, they found out that their account was closed, not even suspended or suspected.
Mm-hmm.
Closed. How many accounts were closed? Give a number.
1,000.
3 million accounts
Whoa.
who were talking about anti-CCP, anti-Carrie Lam.
Wow.
And why did they change? Why did Twitter change their flag? How to say that? Like change their face or switch their sides to do this thing right now to close the account that who are part of Chinese government's influence those accounts. Like, if you know this, why did you do that in August? Like, why if you knew that far away behind, like if you knew that long time ago, why do you let them be here? So they saw the wind has changed.
Mm-hmm.
They saw that right now CCP.
Yeah, like people are starting to see the chinks in our armor and the lies we're telling and horrible things that are happening. Better just kind of sweep that under the rug before it becomes too influential.
Yeah, so they're like, to be honest, they're not doing this for the judgment. They're not stand for the justice. They're just saying, oh, if we kept doing this, if we kept allowing all those Chinese government influences accounts on, we're gonna lose our money. So they're
going back to those Chinese investors.
yeah. So nobody they saw the wind has changed, so they were like, oh, okay, so I show now I close their accounts to show that I'm with you guys who are anti-CCP. Okay, next page.
Yeah. So that's a fantastic segue to gold. Because that was blue, right? That was information control and all that.
Cyber related.
But it's equal parts gold. There is a lot of money in China. And
where did they get the money?
Everyone beneath them.
Yeah.
Yep.
1.4 billion slaves. So G is for gold. They use money to bribe politicians, not even US. It's the politicians all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
And the governors, senators, businessmen, you name it. And also, if you think that they're just using a real gold or real money to just bring a suitcase, say, hey, this is the money, you do whatever I told you. No, this is not how they do it right now. They're more like, for example, if CCP went to Australia or a representative went to Australia, say, oh yeah, I want to invest in this mine, in this and then I'm gonna put $1 billion in it. And of course, the governor will be like, yeah, please, you're very welcome to do it. And so after years ago, they created jobs. They brought more ballot tickets to this governor of Australia. And now you saw that Hong Kong people are having protests. And if Australian government say, we need to support all those Hong Kongers, but CCP representative came say, if you do that, I'm going to pull out my investment in this mine. And you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose all the jobs. You're going to lose all the ballot tickets. You won't have any supporters. So you have to stay with us. You have to stay with CCP. You have to speak for us.
Yep.
So that's how they bribe right now. And this is just one example. They have many, many different ways to do it.
Including some more involved ways. The U.S. and China are currently in a trade war, which is not going very well for China, and it's going very well for the U.S. because there is a trade deficit in the U.S.'s favor. We buy more from China than they buy from us, which means if we put further tariffs on them, it hurts them more than if they did the same to us. And there's a lot of local manufacturing that is kind of wound down past decades because things have been shipped out to China. But they're still there, and we can and have been revving them up in response to the tariffs on China. But it's not just it's this trade war, right? It's been kind of a back and forth, and it's largely political. It doesn't have a whole lot of effect on real people. uh, but a great example is rare earth mines. So right now, basically all of the world's rare earth minerals are being mined in China because China has subsidized their rare earth mining facilities to the point where no other country, no other business in any other country can compete. And so those mines have to close down, and now China basically has a monopoly on rare earth mining. Rare earth minerals are used in
Cell phone.
Well, in electronics in general,
Yeah.
as well as electric motors.
Ooh.
It's used to produce the ceramics that comprise the permanent magnets inside the motor. So yeah, like yttrium or the niobium. There are a bunch of them, and they're all used in various ways to make electronics for doping purposes or magnets for electric motors, among many other things. They're very useful minerals. But basically, all of rare earth mining is done in China as a result of this underhanded way that China has dealt with its competition.
Yeah.
And there are a bajillion different ways.
Yeah.
That bribery and whatnot, money can be used and has been used as an attack.
So we're just here to give you one example of this BGY's G. So here you see there is a company whose name is Bohai Harvest, RST, and under the bio of the company it says this company was founded in 2013 and put on how much money? That's 2500万. It's like $25 million. I'm very bad at math. So this company are three Chinese companies and this this American companies together. They set up this foundation management company. So I'm translating the Chinese into English. So my brain is not working right now. It sounds very bad. So this American company is called Rosemont Seneca Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
And then the contact info is down there, and then the managed team. There are 3 person whose name is in English. So let's talk about them one by one. So the first one is called Devon Archer.
Yep.
And he is a co-founder and managing partner of Rosemont Capital LLE. And he was the vice chairman and member of the investment committee of Bohai Harvest, RST. And he served as a senior advisor to the current U.S. Secretary of State, John Kerry, in the 2014 presidential campaign.
Right, so I forget who, I think it was against George W. Bush.
In 2004? In 2004?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, so he ran against him. And he's also Secretary of State. I don't think actually currently, but I haven't been keeping up with that. The current lineup has been changing frequently. Um, but yeah, he's held major U.S. government positions and has had high aspirations
So he
as well.
has U.S. government backgrounds, right?
Definitely.
And he's look at the last sentence. He served as co-chairman of the National Finance and Economic Committee. What is that? Maybe we can dig more on that part. And then James J. Bolger, and he's the chairman of Thornton, director of Bohai Harvest RST, and look at that. In 2005, a consortium was formed to bid for the construction of Beijing Metro Line number 9. And then, since then, Thornton has been successfully engaged in cross-border transactions between China and the United States. And then, if you look at the picture down below, there's the Bohai Harvest, BHR, and then the logo to the right is called Sun Honor Capital Co. Ltd. So what's the relationship between those two companies? And let's take a look. So the Sun Honor, if you see the words in this red square, it's a company which is invested by HNA. HNA is the Hainan airline company, and it's a family business of Wang Qishan, who is the current vice president of China. And in their bio, if you see the highlight words, it says, and the 4 phases of Bohai Huamei. So what is Bohai Huamei? Huamei is the pinyin pronunciation of BHR's Bohai Huamei, the character. So it is Bohai BHR. So they invested in BHR, which BHR has U.S. government background. Wow. And then Hainan Airline, HNA, also has Chinese government background.
Right. And actually, if we go back a frame, we forgot to mention a little something. If you look at the last person,
R. Hunter.
Yes, R. Hunter. And who could that be?
Yeah,
Hunter
who could that be?
Because none of these Western people's last names are used.
Yeah.
But we many of us will already recognize his face. So if we go forward a couple of frames, that's Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. Joe Biden, the current, he's a front runner of the Democratic presidential candidates.
He was the previous vice president.
Yeah.
Wow. And then if you look at the words, Hunter Biden, he's the executive of Rosemont Seneca Partners, which is the Thornton and all those people who are involved. So they're pretty much a company that's built by all the U.S. government officers.
Yep.
And then in December 2013, back then, Joe Biden was the vice president. So he and his son, Hunter Biden, flew to China in Air Force Two. Is that legal?
For personal business, very much no. Air Force Two is reserved for government business only.
Wow.
And it comes with its own security detail, all kinds of. It's all paid for by taxpayers.
So we pay for them to fly there to do business with Chinese governors.
For the vice president of the United States to help his son wangle a deal with
CCP.
Basically with with the government of China
Yeah. So
for
let's
personal profit.
yeah. So let's keep looking. So 10 days later, a subsidiary of Bank of China signed a contract with Roseman Seneca Partners, agreed on building a 1 billion investment foundation together, which is the Bohai Harvest RST.
Yep.
Bingo! Well done, guys. And also, right now the current the current news are, what is that? The current news is there was a TV footage said that the Ukraine
Yes, the Ukraine.
judge trying to do the investigation on Hunter Biden.
It was the Attorney General of the Ukraine. I forget his name.
And Joe Biden just said that on TV. Said,
yeah, just straight up said, "Oh yeah,
if
I
you
got
do
him
that,
fired.
I'm not gonna give you. You have to fire him. Otherwise, I'm not giving you money. Something like that."
Right, and it was
He just said
I
that
think
out
military
loud.
aid to the Ukraine. Basically, he just admitted straight up that he extorted the Ukraine. So the deal is that Hunter Biden was on the board of directors for what kind of company was it?
Also, investment company.
I don't think it was investment. It was some kind of
Resource company.
yeah, energy company.
Energy company.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the name of it is slipping my mind, and
it's okay. Just keep
feel
going.
really silly when I look it up later. But they're being investigated by the AG, and he was asked to drop it because from higher up, president at the time of Ukraine.
So he's actually using his position, which is the vice president of U.S., to threaten a Ukraine. What is that? Official said that if you guys don't fire this guy, we're not gonna give you money.
Right.
And this official is investigating on Joe Biden's son.
Yep. At the time,
wow, he learned pretty well from CCP.
Oh yeah. At the time, Vice President Biden was in charge of Ukraine relations.
Wow.
So he actually had the authority to withhold this military aid that was already scheduled to be sent to Ukraine if they didn't do what he wanted.
Wow. Oy vey.
Oh yeah. And that's under current investigation. I'm looking forward to seeing how that will shake out.
Yeah. So at the end, the fund later went up to 1.4 billion US dollars. Well done, guys. This is this is dirty.
Oh yeah.
Let's move to the next page, which is even dirtier. So now we're talking about the Y. The Y is for yellow. It's sexual bribery. I don't have a specific example for this, but I've heard that all the 5-star hotels in Hong Kong, in their high-ranked hotel rooms, they all have cameras everywhere. Like if you are a U.S. president or vice president, you went to China or you went to Hong Kong, even if you transfer your flight from Hong Kong, you say, maybe I can stay here for a night or whatever. And then they're going to put you in this presidential suite. And then you don't even know what they're going to film you. And if you think this sounds so
conspiratorial
or crazy, let me give you some examples of the cameras. So these are the hidden cameras. They're hiding everywhere in the in hotel rooms or even in Airbnb or rental rooms. They could be behind anything. Like this is a hook, and this is a wall outlet. And let's see if we can find something even creepier. Oh, this is in a light bulb, and this is in a plug.
Yeah. There's a camera and the eye of a button.
Yeah, here. They're hiding behind it. They're hiding behind it, and you can they're selling on either Taobao or Jingdong. You can buy them everywhere. And see, this is light bulb. It says no need to run the line. You can just plug it in, convenient and fast. And this even, wow, this is a like high definition, no wires clock, hidden cameras, and the camera is over here. Over here.
In the number 2.
Yeah, in the number 2. Wow. What? What? Is this? What? This is the gas station. The female restroom in gas station had a hidden camera in China. Wow.
This is these are just cameras.
But they're Wi-Fi connected, and they like I've seen something on Taobao. I don't know if I still can find it. It's like they can be without any charging or without any outsourced electricity. They can stand by for a year. Once when they sense there's a people coming in, they can start recording the camera, and then they will go to sleep mode after this.
Right.
And they have Wi-Fi built-in Wi-Fi's, built-in Wi-Fi systems. So this is super creepy. So this is, if you go to China, be careful with all the plugs and stuff in all your hotel rooms.
Yeah, and this isn't even going into microphones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, microphones are even easier to hide because they don't need to have a direct line of sight to what they're recording. So they can go under things or behind things. As long as it's in the same air that you're talking in. And they can be very sensitive as well.
Yeah. Wow. They're even hiding from here? Jesus Christ. Yeah, so this is the examples that we can give you, just a thought of where the cameras could be, and if it's in a hotel room, and if everybody know who's in this hotel room, a big dog from other countries, maybe have some special needs. Wow, and they record it. Just take an example of Hong Kong. If this big dog says, no, I'm not agree with CCP, you guys. I support Hong Kong people. Oh, really? Take look at this video. Who's in there? What is this guy doing?
Yeah.
So they could use this to threaten anybody who has different opinions with them, and then just force them to agree with CCP.
Yeah. And of course, the examples are a little bit wanting, partly because it works. You know, the extortion and the blackmail and the bribery works. You know, you pay someone with sex, they're not going to tell people about it. You know, you have
Wish.
sexual, well, yeah, We have like sexual relations with people you shouldn't, and you're blackmailed over it, and you're not gonna tell anybody. That's the whole point. You pay, or you you pay in some way, right? In this case, you pay by either throwing your support behind CCP or just stopping your diatribe
Career.
against them.
Yeah.
You stop talking against them, and that's your payment. And then we never hear about it because it worked.
Yeah. And then this one says military used wireless hidden camera. Hidden or hidden? Hidden camera. Military used wireless hidden camera. Whoa.
Yeah, there are no shortages of examples, commercially available examples.
Even this.
That's an ugly dude.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that this is all our episodes, or this is what we're talking about today for our episode. You want to say something?
I think we've covered everything we need to. The subversion by China is and has been for a very long time, very pervasive. And once you know about these initiatives, the 3F and the BGY, so as you can see, these two initiatives, 3F, but particularly for this episode, BGY, by China, are just subversive. They're everywhere, in every country of note. We gave examples mostly concerning China and the U.S., but it's not hard to find them for countries like the UK or Germany or even Indonesia, Philippines. It's really everywhere.
Yeah. We're using U.S. as one example because we're living here. We're familiar with what's going on here and the people that we're talking about. If we give another example of other countries, you won't be like, oh, wow, really?
Right. Yeah, it's better to speak from a position of knowledge.
Yeah.
More firsthand knowledge. So I think that wraps it up. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. So we're probably going to talk about the Skynet system in China in the next episode. It's not the Terminator Skynet, but it's worse than that.
Yeah, it's even scarier.
Yeah. So we will see you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
Yeah, bye. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.